There we are. Back in the world, we've got reveal number 736 coming up next at 1992. Original roll of Lincoln Cents. Getting ready to open this one up. Let's see what we've got and how it works out for us. Trying to find that really rare 1992 wide or close AM. They're supposed to be the wide AM design. Wide AM design was normal from 1989 through 1992, and then they changed the design for 1993. I'll stretch out and do this on camera, I guess. My second of the two ends. There we go. And there they are. All the coins of that roll. I'm going to start off with Chubby Pop Chaser. Chubby Pop Chaser will be the first one in this roll. A check for double die obverses, of course. Repunch mint marks are not going to be a thing for 1992. Those ended in 1989. That was the last year for Lincoln Cent repunch mint marks. After that, it isn't necessarily possible. This is the normal reverse that we're looking for. And, of course, if I find the other one, I'll let you know for sure. But no expectations here. Finding them is going to be a very scarce thing. So let's check this first. Oh, White M. See if we get anything doubled on the obverse here. Very low pressure, low strike pressure on these. Kind of weakly struck. Yep. All right, and that's for Mr. Patillo. Hello, Nana Stacks. I got your registration. I did. I haven't replied to it yet, but I got your registration. So, we're going to do the ceremony. Add you as a standard moderator, and now you will have a blue name. Welcome to the family, Nana. All right, up next. Another 92D here, and this one's also a little bit on the weak side. Let me turn this down, turn the lighting down just a little bit. I had to turn it up so we could see those 72s. I turn it back down because these coins are bright red and a lot shinier. 92D is also known for a very unusual looking eye area. You can find what appears to maybe be a big dent in the die right at the opening of the eye. Some people believe that is a doubled die. Others do not. I'm kind of in the I don't necessarily do school until it's proven to me otherwise. I leave it there. Let me knock this down just a little bit to get better focus on the inside areas. There we go. All right, I think we're ready to start looking at a roll now. There's another white AM. I certainly don't expect to find a close AM, but if we do, that's going to be coin world worthy. That's going to be news to spread far and wide. Surig, the proud new father of a beautiful coin. It's a nice 66 at least. Unfortunately, these have to be like a 67 plus to have much value, but still, they're well worth your buck. Got nothing there. And that's for Richard. Coin number 7 now for Trip. It's got a little spot on the reverse there. And another one. 2 little spots on the reverse. Hello, Shiny Coin Guy. And Mickey. Is everybody doing well, I hope? Mickey, how you getting along? A little better each day. Sure, Eric, I can do that. I mean, a potential grader is for a 1992D. Probably not going to run into it, but there's some chance of it. Most of these coins appear to be a really nice 66. The thing is, going to 67 is a jump. That a lot of this little tiny junk out in the field has to go away. And they have to have really bright luster. And a 67 is not highly common. But sure, if I see a grader, if I see something that should be graded, I'll certainly let you know. Now, what you end up seeing when you go to the PCGS website, go to like PCGS Coinfax, and take a look around at the high-grade pictures they've got in there of the early zinc coins like this one. You're going to find a number of little black spots on some of the 67 plus coins. So when I tell you how to grade, I'm basically being very conservative with it, telling you that your chances are a lot lower of getting the really high grade than if you have an extremely clean coin. That ghost doubling that you see there is die wear. That's caused by die wear, that extra little shadow you see around the 1 and the 2 nines. Really nice looking coins. We'll certainly keep looking though. Coin number 11. Chubby Pop Chaser. Definitely not a grader. We've got some blotchiness to the luster and color on this coin. That's what keeps this one down. So you don't have a really bright shiny face. It's just kind of a dull shiny. You know, that'll keep you from getting a 67. Luster has to be even and bright for a 67 grade. Blotchiness takes it away. And not dull. No, sir, you're not dull at all. Not at all. All right, here's one for Ant. Let's see what Ant has. See that blotchiness right there? It'll take you out of a 67 grade in a heartbeat. As will those blotches on the letters, these black spots, man, that'll take you out of a high grade. That's a carbon spot right there. Take you out of a high grade in no time at all. That's right. And the wind up for the pitch, just a bit outside. keep hearing my voice saying that. You know, Euchre did it best, I tell you what. Euchre and Harry Carey and people like that. And we've lost a lot of announcers over time. Tim McCarver. Yep, that's it. He winds up and he pitches. Oh, just a bit outside. Ball 3. No, Russell, you haven't really missed anything. We're still looking for that enigmatic, extremely rare coin that we will probably not find, but negativity gains nothing. So we do the best we can to find what we can. Oh my gosh. It went through my head. And I just remembered the scout oath. All that time I've not been a scout, and I still remember the scout oath. On my honor, I will do my best to do my duty to God and my country, and to obey the scout law, to keep myself physically fit, mentally awake, and morally straight. What are we looking for on this? Okay, well, first of all, we look for anything that doesn't look right. But secondarily, there are a few more or less famous things to look for. The first thing to look for on the obverse is going to be see that big bulby looking eyelid and how it just kind of looks like a sort of like a slug sitting there? Well, there is another mark that comes straight out of the eye, shooting kind of out and down a little bit toward the bridge of the nose. And that, when you get one of those, is considered a double die by some. One thing to take note of is that the lettering appears to be extra thick on a number of the 1992 Lincoln Cents that is very normal. So don't think those are double dies, because that's just basically what most of them look like. We're looking for really bright luster on these, which this one is very bright. We're looking for an absence of any marks or any spots. Let's see if we've got coins that are graders. This one is not. And then on the reverse, one of the first things that we do check for is to see if we've got doubling on any of the columns. And what you're going to see is generally inside the two middle columns, you'll see what looks like an extra sliver of metal there. And that's going to be where the column was doubled during the hubbing process. And that is a double die. This one is not, but that, as an example, is a double die. And then, most importantly, do not skip over any 1992 Lincoln Cents without looking for the close AM reverse. Close AM reverse on a 1992 is a couple of $1,000 reverse of 93 is what that is. On the D-Mint, you're talking about something even more scarce and even more almost unobtainable. But hey, you never know until you actually look for it. You have to look for it or you'll never find it. But that's kind of what we're sort of looking for in and around the 1992 D Lincoln Cent. How's everything going today? I think we're doing great. Of course, we're not finding anything of special value in all this, but that doesn't make the day any worse. It just makes the day more normal. Always looking for oddities. Always looking for something different than what you would normally see on a 1992 D Lincoln Cent. That's aside from grade, looking for higher grade coins. Your chance that you're going to find any of what I just said is relatively small. But if you're not looking, your chance of finding it is 0. You guys knew I was going to say that. So the ones who know me knew very, very well that I was going to say exactly that. We have to dig into this stuff or it's never going to get searched. If it doesn't get searched, you can't find it. Just like you can't catch fish till you stick your worm in the water. Well, hello, Parvas. Got one for Stan Horn. Normal. Yeah, what is that? Oh, normal to me. When I'm going through coins, of course, normal to me is anything that doesn't look like something I should pull out and keep. But as far as humans are concerned and human behavior, there is no such thing as normal. Stan the man. All right, Sureg comes up next. Still not a grader. Let's see the blotchiness out here as soon as I pick the coin up. When I'm going through a roll of coins and I'm looking for coins that might grade, first thing I do is I go through the obverses and I tilt them toward the light. And I lay them out on a special stick that I have designed that has a flute down the middle of it that'll fit pennies. And I set those pennies inside that stick. And I'm watching and looking for anything that doesn't have any flaws that I can see. I pick all the other ones out, so I'm left with only the ones that appear flawless. And then I flip it all over and look at the reverses. And then, of course, you have to have the reverse also pretty near flawless. And once you find coins that the obverse and the reverse look pretty well flawless, you got a coin that's probably worth grading. See, this one appears like a grader on the reverse. It's pretty nice. It's very nice, actually. Got that one little spot in the field. That's not going to hold it back. Got that one little spot right there. That's not going to hold it back. So this is pretty much a 67 reverse. There's no big hits, no big problems. Nothing anywhere on the surface of this coin that's really going to say, you can't grade that. But here on the obverse, that little spot on the jacket really isn't going to matter much, but this one is. That one will take it out of a 67, put it in a 66 holder, so this could be a 66. Nice, well struck, nice round hair and everything. Oh, there's another spot right there. So your chances of getting a 67 on this one are pretty much nil. You could get a 66 on this. Now, 66 isn't really going to bring you a pile of money, and it's probably going to cost you as much as the value of the coin to have it graded, which is a problem. This is how they knock out the men from the boys when it comes to submitting coins. They want you to cough up a pretty penny to get your coins graded, which is what generally knocks people out of submitting coins they believe might be worth $5 or $10. It just doesn't make sense to have those graded. I don't bother grading a coin unless I'm relatively certain it has a value of $100 or more. $100 or more. Coin number 23 now goes to Sissy. This is, oh, bummer. Got one spot right down there. But man, this was a really, I see that right there. They consider that more or less an incomplete strike. It's a weak strike. You won't get a 67 on an incomplete strike. 65 is probably about the best you're going to get out of this one. I can tell you now, a 65 is not going to be worth grading. No value in a 65. Not that kind of value. Probably $1. Maybe $2 for a 65. Trip. Time for Trip to get a coin. Little Mark. Right there and right there. Those two marks will probably keep it out of a 67 along with that one right there. So not a 67 on the obverse. Something I don't know what actually causes this. If anybody does know, please let me know, because, well, this is something that in all my years of dealing with coins, I still don't have a definitive answer to. Why is it that the reverses usually tend to be of better grade than the obverses? Why is that? It's almost every coin I look at, the reverse would grade higher than the obverse. Hey, Arizona Coins. Nice to see you here today. Let's see. That die wear. Die wear causes that. You see how all this roughage going on out here, that's also the same kind of die wear. It just doesn't have a letter to follow. This has a letter to follow, so it makes a pattern. And that pattern to some people looks like doubling. Like this would be called an RPM to some people, and this would be a double die to some people, but it's not. Just normal die wear, folks. Just normal die wear. That in itself would not affect the grade of the coin. The grade of the coin is all based on strike and luster. Basically, surface preservation, luster, strike are what usually make up the value of a higher grade coin. And that kind of die wear is not going to impede a grade. It's not going to markedly impede a grade. There's some chance this one could possibly grade a 67. It's a pretty coin. In fact, there's a pretty decent chance it could grade 67. You guys want to look at the values? We'll bring up PCGS real quick. Go over to PCGS and use their website to come up with what we think would be a grader. So PCGS.com/PC. Let me try to type this out. PCGS Coinfax works. PCGSCoinfax.com. It's actually PCGS.com/Coinfax. Let me bring it over here where we can see. And come down here and we go to the modern 59 to date. Then they've got it split up between the this is the bronze or brass, and this is the zinc. There's your bicentennial, and then here are the shields. So you want to go to the zinc cents for 92D, and then you go down and select 1992D. And then you go down here, and these are your grades. First thing you need to do is check your color. And there's where you check the color right there. So we're going to do red. Let's see, they have a 69 red graded, which means a 67 has no chance of carrying value. And so here's your values right up here, the top PCGS price guide. And then here are your grades. So a 67... they show a value of $30, but recent auction results, well, these aren't recent. These are 11 years old, but still, auction results show that they sell for less than $20. And then for a 67 plus is $25. A 68 will get you up to, I guess, around $30, $35, $40. And if you want a grade that's going to bring you some money, it needs to be a 69. 69 is where they are really profitable. You pay $25, $30, up to $50 to have a coin graded depending on its value. And so there are auction results that are very worthy of getting a coin graded, but a 69 is going to be, nearly impossible for you to get. 69s generally come out of mint sets, not out of rolls. So, hate to tickle your tummy with really bad news and make it feel nauseous, but none of these coins are going to grade high enough for us to consider sending them in. There's just, with a 69, you can't even have like minor imperfections. Stuff like this right here, immediate knockout of even a 68. Even this, where you've got that split layer, that's the split plating, where you can see the exposed zinc up here. That'll knock you out of an ultra high grade. You won't even get a 68 with that. And there's a bunch of it going on that coin. Oh, I'm sorry, that was number 26. That goes to Paul Hampton. Dirty Water, I think that could possibly be true. However, I'm really not talking about the strike itself. I'm talking about the surface preservation and everything after it left the mint. It's just generally the obverses have more marks on them and have more hits and things like that than the reverses do. The reverses are usually quite a bit cleaner. I have no idea why. So it turns out we've got nothing going on with this one. Let's keep moving along. Number 28. Alex. Got some spots on these. Just a few here and there. Nothing to be too alarmed about. Number 29. Chubby Pop Chaser. Really shiny coin here. Going in. Got a spot or two. Yeah. These are, if even that, barely 66 level coins. And a 66 level coin graded by PCGS, MS66 red, is one of those junk box $5 slabs. How do they afford to do that? Well, they pay $10, $15 to have coins graded in bulk. They send in rolls and rolls and rolls. And say you had 20 rolls of 1992 Ds that you wanted to send in to grade to see if you could possibly get a 69 out of it. I mean, that would be worth trying for if you had really nice quality rolls. And you get back a couple of 68s out of it. And those couple of 68s worth, $50, $60 a piece, kind of pay for the rejected coins that you get back and don't get holdered. A lot of times, with NGC anyway, the rejected coins, the ones that they won't grade at the level that you want, they'll just send those back and they won't charge you for them if they comprise less than 40% of the overall package. Why Denver coinage always stands up better over time? I've never noticed that. This one's definitely not a grader, not even gem. A couple of spotty spots there. Well, I've never noticed that, Dirty Water. Anything about the Denver coins holding up better. Getting ready for 6 to 9 inches of snow. We got a lot more snow this year than you normally do up in that area. It's good to see once in a while. Get rid of those pesky spring bugs early in the year. So this one's pretty. Now you see the differences. This one's a nice 66. On the obverse, we haven't flipped it over yet. You cannot grade a coin by looking at one side. Grade of a coin is always both sides of the coin and the rim. That's a real nice one. Now, if we can get around this side without coming into any real issues, which I've already found one. Wow. This coin only has one issue that would keep it out of grading 67. And that's that little bit of split plating down there next to the T. That has peeled back a very small amount. But it's a real pretty coin. Shiny coin guy got you a shiny coin. Take a look at that. Man, that sucker, that's like the day it was made, brother. Son of a silver stacker, how you doing? Is one side favored over the other when grading, or is it equal? I have been taught over time, and I'm not 100% sure whether this really matters when you're talking about really high grade, but I've always been told that the obverse makes 60% of the grade, the reverse makes 40%. That the obverse is the part that they do focus on the most. So your chances of getting a really high grade are going to be knocked down as you find things on the obverse. The reverse basically just detracts from the obverse. So consider an obverse like you've got a perfect 70 grade, and then you start looking at things and you subtract. For worthy marks and issues, you subtract. So if your luster isn't beautiful, then you subtract a little bit. If you've got marks on the coin, you subtract a little bit. If you've got noticeable blotches or spots like this, you subtract a little bit. And the more demerits that you have to give it, well, you go down in grade. If it's not fully struck, you go down a little bit. It takes a lot of going down to get down to 65, but it doesn't take much to get from 70 to 69. But then when you're finished grading your obverse, you got to flip it over and grade the reverse too. And the reverse is basically what I look at is a 60-40 split. And so if you take your grade number of your obverse, grade number of your reverse, you average the two together, giving the obverse 6 points, reverse 4 points. So you basically you do the math like this. I'm trying to explain it. My brain is not functioning well. Let's see. Okay, so say your obverse is a 66, your reverse is a 67. You want to find out the overall grade. You take 66 times 6, 67 times 4, and then you divide that number by 10, and that will give you the grade. Because you're giving that 66 more weight, you're probably going to turn out with a 66 point something. .6, probably. I like these coins when they don't have as much of the split plating and the like all of this modeling and bubbling that you see. I like it when they don't have that. They come out so much kind of nicer. You're very welcome, son of a silver stacker. I'm going to be doing some videos on grading. Put them on the YouTube channel. They are pretty prolific out there on YouTube. You'll find a number of people we're going to teach you about grading. Some of them are pretty good. Some of them are horrendous. and then there's a bunch in between. I'm going to try to make mine pretty good, which is why I'm waiting on a new camera to show up. And once that new camera shows up, I'll start doing some more stuff where I include photographs of coins. The photos of coins that I have now were taken with my old camera, which gave me the poop about 3 or 4 months ago. So I've not had a really good camera in 3 or 4 months now. As we've got people coming up and talking about how many likes and how many people we've got here. We've got a plenty number of people here. Let's get up there and tap that like button for me. That's going to help me out a lot, and it doesn't cost you anything other than a second of your time. If I've deserved your attention and you're liking what you see, well, I deserve your like. Just a like. That's all I'm looking for. And if you really like what I do, subscribe to the channel. That right there, I would call an RPM if it were during the RPM days. That is an interesting looking coin. But that has to be a little split in the plating there. Sometimes those things look really good. Really good. Very fooling, very tempting. But there is no such thing as a repunched mint mark on a 1992 cent. Reason? Well, the mint mark was actually engraved into the master die at that point in time, and they created the working hubs for the Denver mint first, and then they ground the mint mark off and filled it in to make the Denver mint, or to make the Philadelphia mint working hubs. So they didn't ever punch the mint marks. They basically did it backwards from the way they used to do. The way they used to do it was you'd make up the dies, and all the dies would be without mint marks. And then they would store those in a nice secure place on a shelf. And all of them were made in Philadelphia at that point in time. And so when Denver or San Francisco would order new dies, Philadelphia die shop would take them out of storage, tap that little mint mark into them, and then send them off. Well, that changed in 1990. In 1990, they took the master die and they said, why don't we just tap the mint mark into this? So it eventually became part of the engraving itself. But for a while, they tapped the mint mark into the master die, and then they would turn around and create hubs from that. Then the hubs would have the D mint mark on them. They would turn around and make Denver mint dies with those at the Denver die shop. Well, the dies that remain would be Philadelphia dies, but they would have to fill in that mint mark on the master die before they made the hubs for Philadelphia. And for a few years, they had trouble with that because you could actually read the ghost of a D mint mark on Philadelphia mint coins. They've since got that all straightened out, but there was a while where that was kind of a mess. If you look closely with the light at the right angle at 1997 Philadelphia Lincoln cents, there's a decent chance that you could find, I don't usually find weakness there, that's unusual. There's a chance that you could find what we used to call a phantom D, and a phantom D was a D mint mark that barely shows through as a ghost on a Philadelphia mint coin. And for a little while, that was going to be like a really big deal, and then it just kind of lost all of its steam and didn't actually become anything. But if you go through a fresh roll of 1997 Philadelphia Lincoln cents, there's some decent chance that you could find what I'm talking about. You got to have like a short angle of light where your light is kind of shining over the surface instead of straight at it. And you can see a hump down below the two nines where a mint mark appears to have been. No value on those, of course, because, well, they never really got them in a position where they were marketable. Nobody really ever bought into them. I think they're neat. I always thought they were really cool. But, yeah, that wasn't always the case. Not with everybody. Coin number 46 going on to Stan now. After I finish my 50 coins here, I will open up a 97 roll, and we'll take a look at a few 97 coins and see if I can find one of those and show it to you. There's some machine doubling for you right there. Just a little bit. Just a little bit. We are not finding anything in this roll. Some pretty nice looking 1992 Ds, but nothing of the collectible sort like value type stuff. Just an interesting roll. Just an interesting roll, that's all. Let's see. I'm going to stay on after this roll, get those 97s out. I haven't looked for a Phantom D97 in a long time. Canceling of the Lincoln Cent. And have you seen what people are paying for 2025 S clad proof Lincoln Cents? Okay, first thing. The S Mint Lincoln Cents are going to be minted completely separately from Philadelphia and Denver, and they're very likely not going to stop that production midstream. So the chance that the proofs are going to be that much more difficult to find is just complete poppycock hogwash. So if they stop production of the 2025 Philadelphia and Denver Lincoln Cents, they're not going to stop before there's 300 million coins out there because those have already been made. The idea that this is going to turn into a huge deal is very likely because, well, when the pandemic started, people bought the entire country out of toilet paper. So that's the world we live in these days. Do I think they're going to cease the production? Possibly. It seems to be a more or less real possibility that the Secretary of the Treasury will come out and work with the idea, send it through Congress and all that. But it's going to require that in order to permanently stop the production of the Lincoln Cent. It could likely happen. I mean, we've been talking about doing this for 40 years now. 1985 was the first time legislation was passed to vote on to get rid of the Lincoln Cent, and it failed miserably. Did it a couple of other times, and it failed miserably. And the main reason why it failed is the same reason it's going to fail this time, is because we don't have an economy that's set up not to have a penny right now. We're getting closer to it, but it's not here. And another flat-looking one. Until it is here, it's going to cost us more money to end the coin than it would to just keep producing it. We had a show the other night. It's going to be, let's see, it's on the Frostbite's channel. Frostbite coin, I can't remember the name. Frosty, if you're here, could you post a link to your channel? We did a show on it last night where Frosty, Paula, and I kind of handled the subject. I have not seen what people are paying for Proof 2025s, but it does not at all surprise me if they're paying moon money for that stuff. 1974 aluminum. There we go. Eric found it. Thank you, Eric. The 74 aluminum cents. What needs to be said? They were made as a test. They were approved to be made as a test. They were handed out to members of Congress. Some of them did not return the coins as they were supposed to. And one of them ended up in the hands of a security guard. Some of the others ended up surviving. We don't know exactly how many. That's all I really know about them. The 74 aluminum cents were never meant to be released. Did you miss a roll reveal show last night? No, there was not a roll reveal show last night. We did not have a show because Eric and I are both going to take a break from doing reveals this coming week. And I'm going to get out that roll now. So I have a roll of 1997s here. This one is nothing special, so who knows what's in it. But I'm going to look for the Phantom D. Now, the way I'm going to do this, I've got to get my angle of lighting down really low and shine it in that direction so you'll be able to see the hump of what used to be a mint mark in that area. We may not find one. We may. Of course you can. You send me an email, cd@coppercoins.com. Promise I'll take a photograph of one when I can find it. Because they are out there. What is that? Ugh. Looks like a rat got into my coins. Ooby dooby doo. Well, that's interesting. Let me look with my loupe in the direct light, and then if I find one, I'll stick it up under the scope. They're not all that uncommon. Which is one reason why they didn't really ever take off. But man, I remember back in '97 we sure did look. Well, let's see. Okay, I'm nearly halfway through. Haven't seen one yet. This might entice people to bust out their 1997s to look for them. Still don't see one. Well, my coin's going to call me a liar here. Well, there is one, but it's not very clean. Still looking. Absolutely not. Grading companies would not bother. Doug, we're looking for what's known as a 1997 Phantom D. Basically, what that boils down to be is that on the Masters for 1997, they started off with the mint mark. When they finished making the D hubs, they took that mint mark off by filling it and sanding it, and then they made the Philadelphia mint hubs. It was a way of changing around things in the way they made the dies. Thomas Meadows is going to send me an email. I appreciate that. Not going to have an auction coming up until next week. There is no auction tonight. I'm going to be taking a trip up into the mountains this weekend to look at a coin collection. And I will not have time to do anything with auction items. So I decided just not to run the auction. All right, folks, I did not find one in this group. If I do, I'll take a picture of it and we'll show it at a different show. But I'm telling you, they're here. They are available. They are out there. I'll look around through some of my 1997 rolls. It's 1997 Philadelphia. That's what you're looking through. Anyhow, folks, I'm going to go ahead and move on to the next show. Our next and last, do I carry coin mats? I don't have a coin mat made up right now. I need to do that. What would they fill the dies with? Steel. Prestige sets. The proof prestige sets, I never really did. But, yeah, they'd fill them with steel. All right, folks, I'm going to go ahead and take off and get on to the next one. The next one's going to be a 2024 Philadelphia roll. 2024 Philadelphia. A lot of people have not really looked through their 2024s, and we're going to do that in just a few minutes. I'll see you at reveal number 737. See you then.